Okay, today I'm going to show you how I use the river. This is a KR506 Toyota River with my KS950 knitting machine. The manual will tell you to raise the bed, attach the coupler. This is the coupler. And bring it over to the edge of the right end of the machine, thread it, bring it back, feed your yarn through the middle of the beds. I'm not going to do that because first couple times I tried using this, I could never get it to go. The yarn needs to be in this area right here or it will not knit with the coupler on. You will hear a click when it goes in. So I'm going to release my yarn from the mast, feed it in here, into the back. It goes in through there, turn it over, feed it in, you hear the click. Then you attach it to the knitter. Just use these screws, tighten them up, bring this down through the bed. I find it's easier to have a little clip just to hold the yarn down. Then you center your river carriage underneath the coupler and raise your river bed. And you are ready to go. I'm just going to do a simple little piece that'll show you how to start ribbing, transfer from both beds to one bed, and then transfer back to both beds. So using my 1x1 needle selector, I'm just going to pull up that many. The river is on full pitch with the P, and you should be setting on 5 in the middle. Then you want to bring up every other needle on the river, which would be in between. See, it's coming in between. If it's on half pitch, it won't work out. The first needle that you are working should be on the knitter, and the last needle you are working should be on the knitter. Bring all these down to working position, all these back to working position. The carriages. Everything should be set on 0 on each side. The levers on your main bed, your knitter, should be set on 0 also. Everything should be canceled out. Since this is your first zigzag row, first row, you're going to have it on 0 also. Your tension's on 0, both zeros. And then just go from right to left. Okay, this is the zigzag row. From there, you are going to take the river comb. You just take the wire out, center it. You want it centered, that way your weights will hold the fabric down evenly. Put your wire back through. Not always the easiest thing to do. Twisting it does help sometimes. Okay, drop down. Next comes the weights. Since you are using 2 beds, you need heavier weights. Your manual will tell you how many weights to use for how many stitches you are using. I only have approximately 40 stitches. I'm only using 1 weight. Put the weight in the middle of the comb. And then your carriages must be set up for your first 2 rows circular. You want your ribber to knit while it goes from the right to the left, but not while it comes from the left to the right. You want your knitter to knit while it goes from the left to the right, and not knit when it goes from the right to the left. So you want to set up your carriage on your ribber on the right side from plain to empty. So when it goes right, it will skip all these. It will not knit any of these. On your ribber, on your knitter, you want to go to left empty. That will be the left triangle, the triangle left of E. I'm going to be ribbing at 2, so I'm going to take the tension on my knitter to 2. This stays the same at the moment, and go 1 row to the right. Only the knitter knitted. Now I want to change the tension on my ribber to 2 and go to the left. Only the ribber knitted. Now I want to finish up my cast on. Take this back down to plain and switch your knitter carriage back to PL and do your final row. On that row, both of them knitted. Now we're going to set the row counter to 0, and I'm going to knit, I'm going to rib 10 rows, and I'll be back. Okay, I've done 9 rows. I've got 1 final row left to do, but since I'm going to be knitting stockinette at tension 4, and I've been ribbing at tension 2, I would like something in between for this final row. So I'm going to take both of them up to 3. This will also make transferring the stitches a little easier. So my last final row. At this point, what you would do to transfer is grab your double-eyed bodkin. It's like a needle, only a needle on both ends. Grab that, pull it, push it down, and feed it there. I'm not going to do that today. Not right now, anyway. So, today I'm going to use the transfer carriage. It's the K65-7 transfer carriage from Toyota. This makes transferring a lot better, a lot easier. So, first thing you need to do is bring all the needles from the back to the front. All the needles out, not in work, on the back bed, forward. So they're all in working position, because these needles need something to transfer to. Next, you need to take it to half pitch. So you're going to change from the P to the H. Next, you put it on. It fit right on. You'll need to move your carriages out of the way. It just fits right on. You'll be able to tell if it's moving nice or if it's rough, and keep trying to get it on, but it should fit right on top. If you have your needles in upper working position, which on a Toyota is the D position, on my brand it's the D position, then you would put this switch up to D. If you have them in the B position, which is the working position, you would have this switch on B. I have my needles in B, so I'm going to put it down B. Next, put both hands on the little knobs And just with gentle pressure, just move it along. Okay. Now, the easiest way to tell if not all needles have transferred is to run your fingers across the needles in the back bed. Anything that goes backwards did not transfer, and it looks like I had 2, 3 that did not transfer. So, manual transfer. And this is how you would do it if you did not have a transfer carriage. Just put that back, actually, I'm finished with it. Now, to transfer my hand, it has to be on the P, because you want them to line up so they transfer. Anything that has already transferred, I'm going to take off. This one has not transferred. This one has. These 3 did not. Now, manually transfer, you lift the needle up, take it down, and bring it on the other side, flip it off. See if I can do it left-handed. Okay. Grab it, lift it up, push it down, flip it, and attach it to the back needle. Now all your needles have been transferred. We were only using one bed at this time, so I can take off this big old weight. Now I have finished using the river from now, so I'm going to lower it down. I'm going to remove the coupler. And I'm going to put the fabric presser back on. And I'm going to put 1 claw weight on. I'm just going to leave this on because it's fine. I'm just going to leave the rubber comb on. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go back to the rubber later on. Now, I want to work in stockinette, but I want to go up to 4. So everything else stays the same. And I'm going to reset my row counter again. And I'm going to be knitting 20 rows of stockinette, and I will be back.
Rolling.
Okay, I have done my 20 rows of stockinette, and now I want to move back to the river. So I remove my fabric presser and thread my handy dandy coupler. Center my carriage, my rubber carriage, under my coupler, and just raise the bed. Now, unfortunately, the transfer carriage will only transfer from the ribber to the knitter. It will not transfer from the knitter to the ribber, so this will have to be done manually. Best way, fastest way for me. This is a great little tool. I learned it when I had my bond, just to open up all the stitches on the bottom, make sure they're all open, all the needles, sorry. Open up all the needles on the bottom, make sure they're open. It makes transferring a lot easier. Take your 1x1 needle pusher, starting with the second needle on the right. Push every other needle forward. Now all you will have to do, it's important to get a chair that moves. all you'd have to do is put your bodkin on there, push, come back, and lift off. So I'm going to do this all the way across the bed, and I'm sure you'd be thrilled to watch me, but I'm going to finish up and then I will get back to you. Okay, I have put all stitches back on. We are back into a 1x1 rib. Now I'm going to make sure every needle that does not have a stitch on it is out of work. These back here need to be back or we would have a needle catastrophe. Now, I'm using my ribbon is going to be on 2 and on 2, and I've already set up everything. All I have to do is knit my ribbing. So I'm going to reset my row counter to 0 again, and then make sure I've got everything on there. Then I'm going to knit 10 rows of ribbing, and I'll be back then. Once again, I've done 9, but I've done 9 rows of ribbing, but this last row I'm going to take up to 3, because it is easier, I do believe, to do the transfer if it's a little higher. So I'm going to do one final row, and then I'm going to do exactly what I did before on my transfer carriage. Move these up, take that to half pitch, put this on the bed. Now the yarn does need to be under it, because you don't want the yarn getting in the way. Moving that to B, because my needles are in B position, and just going across. Ah! Yay! Sometimes the knitting gods are with you. Okay, it looks like everything transferred. Yes. Okay, so now all I have to do is I forgot to put my weight down there again. Well, I did have a little weight, and it did have the weight of this. I'm just used to working on a passive where I don't really use much weight. I haven't used this machine in a while, but I am still happy with it. It's a good little machine. Now I want to do, everything is back on the main bed, the knitter, so I do not need this anymore. So I'm going to drop this down. Had a little bit in there. Okay, and then I'm going to remove my coupler since I'm no longer my knitter. And then putting my fabric presser back on. Now at this point you can bind off any way you want. That's what you're getting to now, just the bind off. I prefer a nice loose, I'm not sure if it's a crochet bind off, it's the latch tool bind off. So what I'm going to do is, because I have a tendency to make my bind offs tight and I want it loose for this ribbing, I'm going to take it all the way up to 10. And then I'm just going to one pass. This weight off. Bring this out so I can work on it a little bit better. Secure my yarn to my mast. And I'm only going to need a little bit. It depends on if you want to have a tail to weave in or whatever. That's all you need. Bring my needles all the way out. Take your latch tool, grab this first stitch, take it behind the latch, go in, grab the second stitch, take it off, pull it through. So you're always pulling the old stitch no, the new stitch through the old stitch. The reason I like this one of the reasons, is because if I have to stop in the middle of something, I can just attach it back up and I'm good. I know exactly where everything is, where I stopped, and I can always just go back and pick it back up and just keep going. Now I'm going to do this all the way to the end, and then I'll show you how I finish off. Okay, I've got this very last one here, and I'm going to take this one off, just like that, pull it through. Now you have this little tail that we have. You're going to take the tail and just pull it through. And that's it. Now, remove the comb. And just stretch it, give it a nice little tug to put them back into shape. And yeah. You have, I don't have anything dark to show it on. Oh, here we go. Have your ribbing, your stockinette, and your ribbing again. So you can start a ribbing and then go into stockinette, which is, for most times, you use a sweater, that's what you would do. But you can also go back into ribbing and make a new cute little sweater. Very simple sweaters, boat neck sweater. Or a little guy for a monkey. Just sew it up the sides, leave a place for your armholes, leave a place for your sweater, and just a simple little thing. So, try to keep it simple. And I hope I've helped somebody with Toyota. There are a lot of great videos out there, and I suggest you watch them to teach you how to do cast on and things like that. But for Toyota specific things, I hope I have helped somebody today with the ribber, showing them how to use the ribber. I know when I first started machine knitting, I watched every video I could possibly find on them, but most of them were for Singer or Brothers, which are very similar, but not quite the same, and I'm one of those people who I need you to show me how to do it. So maybe there's somebody else out there, and hopefully I've helped them. Just enjoy your machine and have fun. Bye-bye. That not everybody has a hold button. They're called partials, levers, and empty, and not slip, it's empty. Why they're not the same, I don't know, and I'm rambling now. Okay, again. Well, I hope I've helped somebody. Oh God, this is gonna drive me crazy. Just keep going. It's okay. I'm gonna just cut it off, but this is gonna drive me freaking crazy.
I'm just letting it roll. Okay.
Good. Okay. I will fix it.
I know you got it.
Okay. So I just hope I helped somebody.